I don't have an introduction for this podcast. I'm very indecisive, but I do go by Tony Awdball. This is an odd conversation here with a very special guest.
Mars 3 Times.
Mm-hmm. Mars. And I've known about you for a couple years, man. I actually found out about you through a no jumper suggestion. I want to say,
Oh, that's fire.
yeah, I think it was the first interview I've ever seen of yours was from Ruben Slick. Now that was really interesting, and and then after that I got shoved into like a whole rabbit hole of artists that you've like interviewed prior to that, and yeah, man, I just kind of want to know like a little bit like well where you're from and what got you into doing interviews yourself.
Word, yeah, yeah. I'm from Florida, like South Florida, like Broward or Miami. Um, and and yeah, fucking. I don't know. The interview stuff kind of happened randomly. Like there was just a bunch of cool stuff happening around me, and like I noticed like nobody was really like covering it in like that way. And then like I guess I saw No Jumper,
Mm-hmm.
and like the way he was doing it, and I'm like, damn, I could totally fucking do this. And my homie Keem had told me he had just got like the equipment to do it. So then I just started interviewing people, and I started with like just somebody that like I knew that like was just like around like in the scene and shit, and yeah, and then I started doing interviews.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And then so how did the whole doing shooting music videos come along? Because I know you did that for a period of time.
Oh yeah, I did that. I did that for a while too. I mean that just came around because there was just like I don't know, like in Florida, like back then when I just started, there was like a really healthy scene going on. There was like a lot of dope people, but like there was like a lot of dope artists, but like I feel like maybe like the other things people weren't really doing them as much. And I don't know, I just saw like shooting videos as like an open market, It was just like there was just like people that needed videos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. And I did like enjoy seeing your grind when you were up doing that because I think you remember you started doing shooting the videos I think 2016 at least when I was like aware of it and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I mean did you have like any like favorite videos you put out with like any artists that you were a fan of or what?
Um, Not necessarily. I fucking, I mean, like, no, I don't really have any favorite videos. I mean, I wish I would have filmed more stuff of X, but like all the stuff I filmed with X, I'm like proud of.
Okay.
Like him performing live at Rolling Loud and shit.
Dang. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna touch on that in a little bit. I just kind of want to get like a little more of like your base, down because I know you had the Mars files. That's where you do all your interviews at and such. And so I kind of want to know like what's the status going on with that, and also like the clothing brand that you had along with Mars 3 Times.
Yeah, so like the clothing brand we're kind of not doing right now, just because like I don't know, it's just kind of a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's definitely like something that like I have interest in, but like right now like other stuff is like moving faster, quicker. So it's just like I guess like the clothing brand is on like the back burner right now.
Okay.
Like you could still buy a shirt if you go to the website, but we're just not like really promoting it or like really focused on it right now.
Okay.
And yeah.
All right. And where did the whole Mars name come from?
It was honestly, it was just like my homie fucking like drew a couple logos and then fucking we like ended up with one, and then I don't know, it just ended up being Mars, and then I just like used that for everything, just to keep it all under the same umbrella. There's no like cool story or anything behind it. It kind of just is.
Okay, for sure. And one more thing before we head on to like other questions I have here. I know years ago, a lot of people from Florida was promoting the new Miami collective. Like with you, Ash Nat, and a bunch of other people. You know, is that still a strong thing right now, or do you have any word on that?
One more time?
The new Miami collective.
Yeah.
So, do you know what's going on with that at all? Or is it still like a strong brand right now, or no?
No, I'm not really sure.
Hmm. Okay, for sure, for sure. Yeah, because I remember that was like a big thing years ago and such, and I don't know. I just didn't really hear much after that. But here we are, and we're gonna lead into the next thing right here, where you were also one of the first interviews XXX actually had, and so
Yeah, yeah.
how did that even come about in the first place?
I don't know. That shit trips me out. Like, I think I was just like in the right place at the right time, doing like the right thing. But also like just talking about it kind of gives me chills. It's like all the interviews I had done up to that point were like I mentioned him in every interview because like his shit was going crazy at the time, and yeah, he had gone to jail, and then when he got out, he called me. He's like, "Yo, let's do an interview," and like I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" I was like, "All right, for sure." But yeah, fucking, I mean, that shit's crazy.
Yeah, I bet. Because I remember seeing him just like, well, I mean, I just started hearing about all the controversies back, leading up to that exact interview. Because that was the first interview I seen before the jumper one, and yeah, that one kind of like tripped me out in a sense because it's like he's definitely using like his surroundings to his advantage and such, and you got to be a part of that whole entire process. So I thought that was
Yeah,
pretty dope. So
yeah, it was sick. It was sick. It was sick to be there and just to like see it.
hmm first off, rest in peace, X. I did go to the
Yeah,
memorial he had over here, in the L.A. memorial. We showed up a little late. We ended up being a riot by the time we got there, and yeah, that shit was pretty wild. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, that shit's crazy. I remember seeing that. I remember seeing that shit. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, like you'll see. You have to really look for it though, but you'll see me in the video where they're pretty much trashing that whole white. I think it was a white Honda or something. They
Yeah,
just like full on like trash the fuck out of that car, and of course with the news van as well, and that was just like a lot of fun, man. Although they did shoot like rubber pellets at us and everything, that kind of killed it for everybody, but understandable.
that seems like it would kill the vibe. That does seem like a vibe kill.
Yeah, but right before they even started shooting, man, like it did start getting that like a little crazy where people lining up like M80s, couple girl fights. It was pretty crazy. It was pretty fun, but
I wish I'd have gone out.
yeah. Yeah, where were you at when you got the news about X?
Actually, when it happened, I think I was in Florida.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And then where were you at when you got the news about X?
I was like sitting on my computer, and then somebody called my phone, and they're like, "Yo, I think X died." I was like, "What?" And then my phone started blowing up. People started calling me. I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know." And then yeah, and I guess, and then I saw it on the internet. But
Okay.
yeah, I was at my house. I was here in Florida.
Oh wow. Damn, man. Yeah, I don't know. It was like kind of like a disbelief myself because you did see him like come from a big a big chaotic upbringing down to like really trying to make a difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that was a bad time to of the year really. I get a little weird when it comes to these things. I kind of don't know what to say, but I do. It is like a touchy subject as well for like others.
Yeah, yeah. It is weird though. I know what you mean though. Like I never know what to say either.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. We're just gonna like switch on to the next one where you also interviewed Little Pump and Smoke Purple early on as well, and so
Yeah, yeah.
so personally, how does it feel to be able and be in contact with these artists, on the start of their big fame and the big hits that they come up with now?
It's super cool, but it's funny because I don't even like think of it like that because a lot of the times when I like meet these kids, they're just like regular kids, they're just like regular kids at fucking these rap shows. So I don't know, it's just like imagine like just like any like rapper you ever met at like a rap show ends up becoming like fucking the biggest rapper ever.
Yeah.
It's just it's like that. You like, I mean, you could like tell that there's like a difference, but like really and truly, it just like it happens, and it happens like super fast. So you never really even get to like think about it like that.
No, no, I believe that for sure, man. Because I remember when I interviewed Krez. You know, Don Krez was like my very first interview like I've ever done on anything, and
Hmm.
like the only way I got that interview was when he actually knee dropped my cousin at a show. It was like a big speaker fall, and you know he felt that he had no choice but to land on him. But you know we all started laughing, bullshitting afterwards, and then you know we ended up like locking an interview, and that was before I had like any camera, any questions. You know, it just happened right there on the spot, and you can still
Yeah.
find it. It's a little awkward, but you can still find it. But yeah, then next thing you know, he's over there doing like big EDM shows with like 88 Rising like throughout the years. So I don't
Yeah.
know. It's pretty weird how things like really unfold after that.
Yeah. For sure.
hmm were there any artists that you got to interact with or even interviewed yourself that you were kind of like shooken up by?
Um. Yeah. Like when I first moved to LA, there was a couple like. There was a couple that I'm like, oh fuck, and it's still like kind of fucks me up sometimes when I'm trying to do an interview, but I'm just like a big fan of the person, or I've just known about the person or something.
hmm
You know, it's like hard for me to interview them sometimes. Like I like it more when I like don't really care, because I'm able to be like more natural. Like I get in my head about like, oh my god, you know, like I get starstruck still.
hmm
Um, but but yeah, like I mean, there was a couple like when I interviewed Little Nar, that was one. Like he showed up like an hour and a half late, so that like threw me off. And then I had to do, and then we did the interview, but I was still like in my head about it.
Yeah. No, it's weird because that's how I felt when I interviewed JK. I interviewed JK the Reaper.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, I was a little shook. I was shook when I met him because you know when I met aside from Krez out there was like other artists I was supposed to interview and they kind of like had like a front up leading up to the interview and then for some reason it just didn't work out. So when I met JK, I was like kind of expecting the same thing, but he was just like, "Oh fuck yeah, dude! Like let's get it." You know what I mean? I'm all ready.
yeah. JK is fucking super cool.
hmm Yeah,
JK is super fucking cool.
yeah. That's why I did love that interview that you guys had together and such. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That was early too. It's funny because there's like a whole like 60 something interviews on the new Miami page that I don't have on my new page that I haven't like brought over to my new YouTube channel that people probably don't even know about.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah. All they have to do is really just look up your name. As far as I know, like, is your name like under the tag references when it comes to finding those interviews?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. So yeah, man. Like that's the thing that I love about this interview game is that like there's a lot of insight that we catch, and then whoever is blessed enough to come by it, they catch it themselves, and just have to just look up your name, and you find like a whole rabbit hole of
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
Ah man. So out of all the interviews that you've done, were there any of your aside from the X and the big numbers ones,
Yeah.
was there like any favorites that you had that you're really like proud to have?
Yeah, yeah. I'm super proud of the little darky interview that I did recently, maybe like 6 or 7 months ago. But I'm super proud of that one, and I'm super excited for little darky.
Mm-hmm.
Have
Yeah,
you ever
man.
heard of Have you heard his music?
I heard of him because of that interview. Yeah, I remember like walking, like listening to some of his music afterwards. I think I was just like in tune with some other artists at the time, so that's why I couldn't really like take it in just like that. But that I think that's like the most viewed interview you had on that channel as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is the most viewed interview on my channel.
Okay.
But I think that's like my best interview.
Hmm.
To be honest, I think that's like the best one
Okay.
that I ever did.
Shit. So, prior to all this work that you've been putting in, like how was your upbringing like in Miami, or not Miami, but like Florida in general?
I mean, it was super chill. Like I grew up with my parents. You know, I'm an only child. My parents are still together. I live in a gated community. Shit is good. Like super super good. Like I got a really like really really good family.
hmm
I'm just like blessed.
Yeah, man. It's funny. I kind of had like a similar upbringing back in before my sister was born when I was like 16. I was like only child. Not really gated community, but we lived in a ghetto area called Fontana over here, and it wasn't like if you kind of stay out of shit, you won't really get into so much shit. But yeah, I mean they did what they could until before they broke up and shit. So yeah, it's funny. It's weird how you say that. So here we are. We're both doing the interviews as well. That's crazy. Uh,
Yeah.
so you know, how's your whole dating life? You know, how's the dating app treating you?
Oh, my dating life is fucking non-existent right now. I mean, especially with quarantine. I don't even like want to link up with anybody. It just seems dangerous.
Hmm. Well, how about prior? Because I'm not gonna lie, your screenshots from all the Tinder chicks you've ever like DM'd and all the stuff, man, they're hilarious.
That's funny. That's funny that you say that. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, but yeah, no, really, right now my dating life is non-existent. I mean, in the past, like even in LA, it was fucking, it was hard as fuck. Um, but you know, like random Tinder hookups are cool, but I don't know.
You know, you ever had like a weird encounter doing the whole Tinder meetup?
A couple weird ones, but nothing like weird enough to like actually talk about. You know, like I don't know, like uh, it's so hard. It's so hard to like. It's like I can't think of like a funny story.
Hmm. Okay, so
I don't know. That was a fucking terrible answer.
no, man, it's perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying? It's this is your interview at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It's just like how whatever you want to share.
Yeah, yeah.
But so what's the difference between LA chicks and my Florida chicks?
Oh, that's a good question.
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like LA, like a lot of people in LA aren't even like from LA, so it's like it's hard to even say that. Um, what's the difference? What's the difference? Can we table that and come back to it? Because I just can't think of anything right now.
No, that's perfectly fine. You know, I'm all for it. So I do know that at one point you did work with Yes Jules. I don't know if you guys had some kind of contract with each other or whatnot. You know, how was it meeting her, and how did that whole thing come about?
That shit was super cool, and I'm super lucky for that. And like, that's really the reason I was able to be in LA for as long as I was. It was super dope though, but it was sick. One day I woke up early for whatever reason because my friend was like trying to shoot like a short film, and he wanted me to be in it or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, I was on Twitter and I saw that she was like looking for somebody in LA to do that. She was like looking for somebody in LA to like program her like radio station or whatever. And yeah, I responded to the tweet. And I was like, yo, I'd be perfect for this, and I need a job. And just, like, a bunch of people on Twitter, like, the people that follow me and shit, just, like, retweeted it, and was just like, yeah, he's the guy, he's the guy, he's the guy. And then, yeah, fucking, it ended up working out.
Yeah, damn. Did you also go to school for any of this, like, radio, like, production type of thing?
No, not at all.
Okay. So how was it, like, you know, doing the whole, like, with the experience, getting involved with Yes Jules, and you know, being hands on with all that?
It was fucking amazing. It was so much fun. It was a fucking dream, yo. It was unfucking real.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, dude. I mean, just being hands on with everything and like programming the station and putting like whatever songs I wanted to put on there. It was unreal. It was like, I don't know, it was a fucking fantasy land. Like, LA, like, I spent 3 years in LA and that shit didn't even feel real.
So, like, what's one thing you miss about LA the most right now?
Probably, like, the people. I have some friends over there.
Mm-hmm.
So probably, like, the people I miss. And, but that's about it. I really wasn't having a good time in LA because it was just, like, it was so expensive. Like, I was getting paid good, and it was cool at one point, but like towards the end, it was so boring. And I was just sitting inside all day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What city? What were you like in Los Angeles itself, or were you just like in the county?
I was living in Koreatown.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, that's where. Is that where everybody goes?
What was that?
Do you know if that's where like everybody from out of state like kind of goes to?
I have no idea.
yeah. I just know so many people that came from like different states, and then they're staying in Koreatown to Hollywood and Woodland Hills, and like those three specifically, I've always like was curious about because I kind of grew up. I grew up in the city. Well, aside from Fontana, I moved out to Whittier. I think like in high school or so, and after that, like that was just L.A. County, but that's like on the border between that and Orange County. And I felt like a tourist in Los Angeles itself, so that's why I was like kind of curious as to like, is there like a specific like prices or some shit out there? I guess that makes it easier.
I don't know. I knew a lot of people that lived in Koreatown. I knew a couple people that lived in Echo Park.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, go.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if a lot of people like it's definitely cheap in Koreatown.
Okay. And
like
so,
cheap for LA standards, at least.
Mm-hmm. Dang. So where after encountering all these different milestones in your your career, where has all this kind of sent you before this whole quarantine came up?
I mean across the country and back, but yeah, fucking. I'm just super blessed, yo. I'm just so lucky that like all this shit happened, like, and it's really like I have everybody to thank. Because like everybody played like such a big role in everything, and it was I don't know, it was just like I don't know, you don't like understand like what's happening until it all happens and like the dust settles, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean I've just been lucky, man.
Yeah, man. And so, is there anything that you're in the works with right now, especially for this whole downtime? You keeping productive with any kind of work?
Not really. I mean, I kind of just been using this time, I guess, to like just chill, relax, and like kick back,
Mm-hmm.
and connect with some old friends, you know.
Yeah. I mean that's kind of all we have like right now. Just kind of catch up with old people you used to be associated with, and just get like a good conversation. And I was losing my mind for like 2 weeks, going into this, not because of the lockdown, but because of other shit going on. And now I was thinking like, why not just go ahead and try to get some interviews in with this whole lockdown, take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And so
absolutely.
Yeah, man. So there's this thing on the show that I kind of started doing now is that I like creating playlists, especially for like moods or different types of settings, like a road trip, a first date, and all those other things. But I also want like happy, sad music whenever I ask. But what's like a song that you would throw into a playlist that will kind of get you motivated to get like either go out and about, get some work done, or just get you like pumped up?
Honestly, anything Drake. Drake's my favorite fucking rapper. Anything Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. You want me to give you an exact song?
Yeah.
Dreams Money Can Buy is awesome. Draft Day is great. Anything Drake, dude. I'm such a big Drake fan.
Mm-hmm. Dang, man. I'm not gonna lie. That's actually, it's now that I think about it, it really makes sense. Drake, he knows how to deliver music very well, and that's one thing I always give him. He was very talented at that.
Oh, Drake is the fucking best, dude.
You have a favorite Drake album?
Not really a favorite Drake album. I love every Drake song, just like any Drake song can play, and except for After Dark, because it's always the first song that plays on my iPad or on my phone when I plug it in. So I kind of hate that song.
No, I feel you on that. That's how it was with like Isaiah Rashad with AA. It was one of his songs on there, and it would always come on first when I was like plugging into like an aux cord or some shit.
Yeah, it's so funny how like those songs are like the most just like, oh, I hate this song.
It's like, God, I used to love it so much, but like now it's like the very first 3 seconds it gives me an anxiety. I can't do it.
Yeah. No, I feel that.
Cool. Well, that kind of leads into my next question, where let's just say this whole lockdown gets extended out to the end of the year, so the rest of 2020, and something comes up with the Wi-Fi, it gets fucked up with the streaming services. Now, for some reason, you only have 3 artists or bands from your choice that you can listen to, but that includes like the whole discography, whether it's like production, screenwriting, songwriting, features. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So who are you rocking with for the rest of the year?
Pick any 3 people?
Yeah, three people, bands, artists, whatever.
Um, Probably like Drake, Mac Miller, and X.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask the typical, what's your favorite album from Mac Miller?
Um, I think watching movies with the sound off.
Damn, hell yeah. Honestly, I thought I was the only one that really liked that album. You and one of the last people I interviewed really said the same thing.
Yeah, it's a fucking great album. Honestly, Mac Miller's fucking amazing.
hmm Yeah, so then I'm gonna ask the same similar question what I asked about X earlier. What's like your favorite? I mean, not your favorite. Fuck. Your where were you at when you got the news about Mac?
I was in LA, man. That shit sucked. I took a shower and I cried. Oh man, that shit was so sad.
I
That
feel
shit
you.
was
Like,
so sad.
yeah, I don't mean to laugh at that one, man. It's just funny because I wasn't in the shower, but I was at work and I went to the bathroom and cried a little bit. That's why I giggled.
Yeah, I feel you, man. That shit was. Oh, that was fucking terrible.
hmm Yeah. One thing that bothered me about his death was where everyone was all like blaming Ariana for this whole thing, and it's like, dude, that had nothing to do with Ariana. I personally don't feel that way, and
Yeah.
yeah, she didn't deserve that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, dude. Mac Miller was definitely he had his hand on almost everything. He even brought like Denzel out for like a couple shows, and he definitely always had his ear out for like up and coming music. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
he was always like co-signing a lot of people and just like saying nothing but positive things about almost everybody. So yeah,
Yeah.
man, that was a real musician.
Yeah. No, Mac Miller was the shit.
hmm
I didn't like Circles at all, though. In fact, I hate Circles. I think Circles is my least favorite album.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see how most people wouldn't really like get stuck on it. I just think it was just made to just make you sad. I didn't really see any other emotion out of that. Like that's why like if you listen to like watching movies with sound off, it gave you a piece of everything, and it wasn't like just
I
everywhere.
also feel like it had like more of his personality on it. Like I feel like I didn't like Circles because I didn't feel his personality on it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't feel him. Like I didn't feel where he was when he was making these songs. I don't know. I just didn't. I didn't feel it. Like he wasn't there,
Yeah.
and it was just super obvious. Like
Mhm. It did seem like it was still like all experimental vocals and testing a lot, and then they just grabbed all that and just threw it onto an album.
yeah, but I know he's got a bunch of fucking unreleased music. Like he probably made music for like when he was dead. Like he's probably got like albums that are called like "Don't Release This Till I Die."
Yeah, I could definitely believe that. And it's crazy because even his documentary what was it when I stopped making excuses and such, as much as that was about him and his drug addiction, that really just kicked my ass into gear. With this whole interviewing thing is just, I was a lazy piece of shit. I would just be like inconsistent a lot, and then I didn't realize how many excuses I had going on until I started watching that documentary, and
Yeah,
it just the simplicity of someone's like words can really make a difference in someone else's life, and so
yeah,
that's why Mac Miller's death fucked me up and Nipsey's death fucked me up, but that's also because I'm a SoCal guy.
yeah, yeah.
hmm Dang. So, moving forward now, I want to know where do you see yourself in 2025?
2025.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed. I got a bunch of fucking subscribers and fucking. I don't know. I'm doing my YouTube thing somewhere. Probably here though. I'll probably be here. I don't know. I kind of want to move to New York, but I'll probably be here because I love Florida.
Mm-hmm. Dang.
Like this is like the best place in the world
Okay.
in my eyes.
If I were to go to Florida, what's like a number one go to spot? Whether it was like food or just to like go chill somewhere.
Probably JP's. It's like the local bar in my area, and I don't know. It's like a shithole, but I just love that place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we used to have a spot over here in like downtown Fullerton called JP. Well, they're still there, but JP 23, and yeah, that was where all the ratchets were at. Yeah, simple as
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
Cool, man. Well, is there any like last minute advice you want to give out to someone that's pursuing this type of career, or just like life advice in general?
Just do it.
Hmm. Just went Nike with the shit. Just simply said.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah, man. Cool. Well, once again, man, I'm happy we actually got to get this done. It definitely something I was actually looking forward to. I remember we talked about it in the past and stuff, and I just gotta say thank you for your time.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you for taking the time.
No, of course, man, for sure. This probably come out in a couple weeks after this has been recorded and such. Just because I'm trying to like set like space out all the releases I have right now.
For sure, for sure. No, this is dope. I appreciate it, man.
Cool. Well, just like an intro, I don't have an outro either, but I do go by Tony Oddball. This is an odd conversation here with a very special guest,
It's your boy Mars 3 Times.
Mars. Peace.